Absolutely. And in fact, a lot of the people taking the course, I mean, I invite them to post their boards up as they create them, so we can get feedback from them. We can learn from each other. So there's lots of examples already in the course. And most people are doing a paper system. The thing with paper too is, and I talk about this in the course, there's a couple lectures on, should I go digital or should I go physical? The thing with a physical board is it's really easy to change. You're not fighting with the tool. You're not dealing with tool limitations. It's very easy to add other columns or other colors of Post-its, and so these are some of the elements of a visual system, right? It's very malleable when you're using a physical system. So when you're in the early stages, you're really just experimenting, trying to find what works for you. And I guarantee people will make lots of adjustments in the beginning as they start to see what's more effective for them.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely fascinating. Who would? I'm really trying to think now. Who would this course benefit most? Have you got a sort of an ideal student, or is it really something for anybody?
I can't think of too many people that wouldn't benefit from this course, and I can say I've taught it to such a different range of people. I mean, obviously in the corporate world, I have a real heart for managers, right? They're often those teams of one that have things coming from them from all different directions. So I think a system like this will be transformative, really, and that's some of the feedback that I've gotten from people. If you're someone like me who's an independent consultant, it's also again a fantastic way to manage your work, an entrepreneur, but even someone at home. Like a lot of people who use the course, they also use it in their life at home. My kids and my wife and I, we all use a personal Kanban system. So it's the type of system that kind of pays you twice. It's not just for your professional life, but also for your life at home as well.
You must have the most amazingly well-organized house. I know my wife's continually telling me that I haven't done what was on the list that she hadn't yet written.
Well, and it's funny you should say that. I mean, when we first started it at home, I wasn't like getting all geeky on my wife and saying, hey, we should do a personal Kanban system, because that wouldn't have gotten too far. But it came out of a real need, and oftentimes that's why we try things. So in our case, we were having that same kind of expectations issues, right? There was these assumptions or expectations, and they weren't being met, and we weren't necessarily always getting the things done we wanted to do. And so I said, well, why don't we try and use a Kanban board, which, in its basic form is really simple. It's 3 columns. You have a list of things in a to-do column. You have a list of things that are in progress, and you have things that get to done. And so what we just started to do was, create a very basic system, put things up on Post-its, and once a day, at the end of the day, we would kind of check in, update our boards, talk about things. And it was amazing how much just that little system helped us. And, we've done a lot more since then. We now use it in all kinds of situations, even just planning trips. But we also use it to deal with the big rocks in our lives. We have a portfolio board, if you will, and we try to make sure that the busyness of the day-to-day doesn't crowd out the things that were really important to us as well. So it's the kind of thing that can develop with you as you mature in your own ability to manage your work.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely inspiring. I think I'd be tempted to sneak down in the middle of the night and take Post-its off my to-do bit and put them onto my wife's to-do bit, and then pretend I'd be thinking about it in the morning. But I'm sure I wouldn't get away with that for very long.
Right.
Before, this sounds like an absolutely brilliant course. Before we talk about the discount that you've got for the community here, I'd just like to turn to course creators, because I like to ask my interviewees a little bit about their experience of creating their course, and particularly if they've got a tip that they could share with other course creators to learn really from your experience.
Absolutely. I've definitely learned a lot of things along the way. Some things the hard way, some things through my own work experience. And one of the things that I really strongly recommend is to get feedback early and often. So that could be as simple as, and this was a painful one for me, was when you're doing your recording and you think you've got your equipment all set up just right and everything's going to be smooth, still do that first recording, that's a few minutes long or whatever, play it back, make sure everything's okay before you invest a lot more time. Because what happened for me was I actually went into a recording studio. I'm dealing with professionals, and I'm thinking everything's good, and we find out a few hours later actually that the audio volume was really low. And so that just meant a whole lot of post-processing and didn't really, give me the quality I was looking for. Udemy has a fantastic Facebook group where you can post your first video, and there's tons of great feedback on that. And another example that I'll give you that I don't think anyone else has done on Udemy that I was great for me is I actually, before I even created the course, I wanted to test the demand for it. So I did some online promotion to create a private group that would journey with me as I created the course. And I actually charged for this. So I earned money in making the course before it was started.
That's genius.
And in return for that, I offered them kind of a concierge service. So, most people taking the course, it's more of a self-paced approach with, some live support and question and answer. Well, in this case, I really held their hand and walked them through each of the stages of developing their own system. We had group sessions. And what was great about that is I got tons of feedback as I was building the course in terms of what topics I should be presenting, the quality of what material I was putting together, and really getting better insights into how to teach it effectively. So it was really a win-win. I got paid for it, they got tons of value, and I ended up with a much better course for the public when it came time to launch it publicly.
I think that's astonishingly brilliant. I think absolutely fantastic. It's one of the sort of principles of the sort of the lean startup, which is you get validation, and ideally you get your would-be customers to pay for your product development, en route. So I think that's absolutely brilliant, and I have to think about how I can do that for my courses. I think that's really, really great. Thank you for that, Gerry. Can we let's just turn to this the discount. One of the whole purposes of the online learning podcast is to extract extraordinary discounts from my interviewees, so that the community here can rush over, having been motivated and excited by hearing you talk about your course and having a chance to get to know you a little bit by listening to you what you have to say, that you're going to share a discount coupon with us exclusively for the online learning podcast community. And we'll make that available through the show notes, although you'll be able to just go to Udemy and plug it in if you want to. So could you explain what you've got for us today?